You gotta give me one thing. I'm a scary judge of talent.
Adolphus Washington back-to-back plays.
The Detroit Pistons select Luke Kennard from Duke University.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Corey Albertson, Jason Morrow, and a to-be-named guest here on it used to be called the Triple Double Podcast, but our guest here, you got the intro. Go ahead.
I want to welcome everybody to the Corey and Corey Podcast. Mike and Mike broke up, but now we got Corey and Corey. We're expecting to do a nice 20-year run like them and then break off, and I'll find myself a cohort, and he can go do the jump with all them other guys. But, hey, I'm excited to be back, man. Corey Tucker on the podcast again with Corey Albertson and my man Morrow. Before we go any further, let's start this real quick here. Morrow, the first time I met Morrow, he big-timed me, bro.
What happened?
All right. So, fly to the hoop, my first time there. I'm at OBC. I'm up there with you guys in the writing stand because I'm not important enough to be down there with Jerry and all of it at that time. And Morrow was working for Future 150?
I was working for Future 150.
Future 150. Gives me his card. Looked like he got it from Office Max. Gives me the card. Tells me, hey, man, I'm telling him I'm living in St. Louis. Jason Tatum's out there. I'm going to a whole lot of games. I want to write for you guys. Mm-hmm. Morrow's like, oh, sounds good, man. Send me something. Email him something.
Oh, okay, I do remember that.
Next time I see Morrow State Championship weekend, I walk up to him, hey, man, how you doing? Hey, Morrow didn't know me, bro.
You're a pretty recognizable guy.
Pretty recognizable guy. Haven't changed too much. And within those 3 months, Morrow didn't know who the heck I was, man. He big timing.
And, so. I mean, see, he acted like you were supposed to be walking around with your resume and some sample writing, too.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because I sat there and I'm like, hey, what's up, Morrow, man? He's state championship. He's sitting in the seat next to me because I was actually taking Stubbs' seat because I think it was wrestling something going on at that time. So Stubbs wasn't even there. And Morrow big time. So.
Well, then tell the story. Then you got Morrow's his business partner, Zach Fleer. He's taking shots at you on Twitter, and that's like a year later.
Bro, a year later. Like Zach Fleer. I'm out of town at a family reunion. My team is playing down in Cincinnati, OBC 17U, and we're not playing well, but we're winning some games. I think we won all our games, actually. And Fleer's just dogging us on Twitter about how bad we are, how bad we look, and how we're going to lose that night. The team worked. Like, he pretty much predicted it. He's Nostradamus out there making his predictions. So Tony Romo in the booth making all his predictions. I drove 100 miles an hour from Cleveland to Cincinnati, broke space-time continuum to get down there, got there before tip-off, and every time we scored and every time we shut down Teskey, I just clapped and looked at Fleer the whole game, bro. The whole game. And we ended up winning that game by 20, 25 points going away.
So what Fleer's Twitter looked like that night?
It's kind of quiet, bro. Kind of quiet. Back to when he was, doing this King James documentary. It was kind of quiet.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, kind of quiet.
The Corey and Corey podcast is going to call some people out, apparently.
No, we're not going to come after anybody's head, man. This weekend I learned a lot about Ohio basketball. We had a couple of guys up there. One guy he knew everything. He knew everything. If I wanted to know about any player in the state, I even made up a fake name, and he knew about the kid.
Was the kid good?
The kid was not good. He was awful. Which seemed to be the thing for the whole weekend. So
that's what I wanted to start talking about. Like, man, for the basketball, you get it flying to the hoop, you get more entertainment. There are some characters.
Flying to the hoop is a family reunion, man. You get together in the stands with guys you haven't seen for a while, and you get to come together, watch good basketball, watch bad basketball. I'm just thankful for the Cardinal Stritch game. Who did they play?
Marion Local,
because up until then, my team, Winton Woods, was the worst game played. But then when that game got played, we were good. We were covered, and we were good. So I was happy. But you get to see all the people, man, the characters, and all the writers. Chaz is hilarious. Stubbs makes his cameo, and then disappears into the woods of Pickerington. So it's good, man. It's good to see everybody.
And then speaking of that, you got the forfeit win over Chet Mason.
Yeah, I'm 1-0. 1-0, bro. I called Chet. you got the forfeit. Well, you didn't get the loss, but I got the win. So it's over with. Chet couldn't make it. It was a little rain. It rained up there. And apparently the bus they were taking, the windshield wipers were broken. They were busted. So Chet couldn't make it. And my boy, that's my boy. I talk to him every other day. I'm going to be up there this weekend to see them perform. But they got their 2 losses now.
Horseman could have at least, got an Uber. Like, does Uber have a van? They got to have an Uber van.
They got an Uber XL, Super Uber XL, but I don't think Chet and them could have fit Big John and all them guys. Big John ain't riding in that Uber, bro. Big John ain't riding in that Uber, but was glad to see all the guys. Sonny is back. Sonny's back.
He told us 6-6. We win tomorrow. We back. They're down. It's Garfield Heights. They're going to be down 15 in the fourth quarter. It's fine to the hoop. You can write that in stone. Yeah. But this year they got it done. They came back, and man, that was a wild game. That was fun.
That was 2 teams finding a way to fight victory out of defeat there, and it was pretty good game up until. Actually, let's be honest. It wasn't a great game up until like the last 4 minutes.
Last 4 minutes, they were good.
Last 4 minutes were like great basketball. But before that, Garfield wasn't playing well. But I'm glad to see my man Sonny. That's my guy, man. He got that win and broke that little 3-game losing streak he had it flat of the hoop. So
whatever you think about Lil Meechie Johnson, one way or the other, he can turn it on and make some plays real quick. And that last 8 points, like in half a minute, and an assist to his cousin, that was probably the most fun game. But the Sonny highlight of the weekend had to be, I think they played Saturday morning. Sonny makes a video while in bed, letting everybody know, puts it on Twitter, probably put it on Instagram and Facebook, letting everybody know we still coming. We're getting this smoothie. We're getting this win.
My boy is the king of Twitter, man. And he announced it to everybody the day before that we still on our way. Them smooth. He loves the big competition. He loves the hospitality room, the chicken. But he let him know he was really only coming for them smoothies.
Coming for the smoothies. Well, he had it back. He had it back with a win. But other than that, Pickerington Central showed up big. Let me think. What else? Akron Bookdale, young boy. Chris Livingston, Cincinnati Hughes, young boy. Paul McMillan. A lot of good young talent in the state. A lot of prep schools. So I think the top end talent this year flying to the hoop. When you look at some of the kids that Bella Vista, I really enjoyed the talent they had. IMG, Huntington Prep, Prolific Prep, obviously. There's a lot of high end talent. But like you said, it's still a family reunion. But the funny thing is, whether it's Jerry Watson from All-Ohio Red, whether it's Chaz Wolf, them guys never change. It's still the same show year in and year out. Still the same people sitting in the front row.
It was consistent. I think that the top end talent, not really many guys didn't show up and show out. Terry showed up and showed out that second night. If you saw him the first night, Terry Armstrong from Bella Vista, you would have been like, oh, he's okay. And then the next night,
but we saw him get hurt. So the kid from Michigan that was a younger scout. He was sitting up there with me, and he told me he watched him come down awkward in the first game. And the way he played the second game, if he's fully healthy, they might have beat Huntington Prep. But yeah, Terry put on the show that second game.
Yeah, I mean, he got hurt. He didn't get hurt doing the layup. He was doing windmills between the legs and behind the back. So he got hurt doing some crazy stuff. But the next night he was healthy, and I think we had an over-under before the game of like 8 dunks, and he had 9 by himself. So he was really good, really, really good.
Then and those IMG kids. I mean, I saw IMG is ranked number 2 in the country by somebody who does all that type of stuff, and I haven't seen Ladumir, but I mean, IMG, they might have like 4 future pros on that team.
IMG, Ladumir seem to be on a crash course. I don't know if they play sometime. I don't keep up with a whole lot of the national, but they seem to be the 2 best teams in the country this year. Of course, Oak Hill is up there, but I think Mount Vernon kind of took a little bit of a step back this year. But that IMG team was something special, man. I'd love to try to catch them one more time this year if I can. They were something special to watch on Friday night.
People talking about IMG versus Ladumir. It's a little bit of a rivalry. Another flying to the hoop rivalry, Corey Tucker versus Brian Snow.
B. Snow. Let me tell you something, man. I'm the only one in the country besides Eric Bossy who can put B. Snow in his place. And that's what I kind of do with B. Snow. Every year, first thing I do is I show him my shoe game is way better than his ever will be. He only wears Jordans. And then, bro, he wears Steph Curry's. Like, if you wear Steph Curry's, your shoe game goes down there. I get a 12-year-old waiting outside Foot Locker. I'm right there with the 12-year-olds, but I'm getting the quick releases, and he's getting some Steph Curry. So B Snow, hats off to him as far as being a great router for scout, but as far as the shoe game and pretty much everything else in life, he's average.
You forgot one, and I tell you what, if anybody listening to this podcast ever gets stuck in a conversation with B Snow and he's annoying you, I'll give you TJ Kelly's number because he's scared to death of that boy.
I mean, you got to be scared of TJ, man. He reps that. What is it? It's not 8 miles.
No, it's 6 miles, twice as hard.
6 miles.
No. It's 12 miles, twice as hard as 6 miles.
Yeah.
That's what he said. 12 miles down, twice as hard as 6 miles.
Oh my goodness! So yeah, shout out to my man TJ. I mean, he hadn't been down to Flyin to hoop in a couple years, man.
Man, he they told me there's something else going on in Michigan nowadays. You never know with TJ, man.
What's going on up in Michigan?
You never know. You never know. Murder's a possibility. A couple years ago, he acted crazy. He knocked this little boy's ball over the rail.
I remember that.
Autographs. I remember that. He teased Morrow. He teased Dylan Prescott.
I haven't seen Dylan since either. Dylan couldn't take it.
Oh,
I think Dylan got home right, little TJ doll down there, man, poking sticks at him because I haven't seen Dylan since he even left early. He didn't even stay for the whole event. At least Morrow comes back and takes the punishment every year.
Well, that's only because they had a Columbus team playing last at 8 p.m. on Monday.
And they look good.
They
look really good.
Everybody talking about their depleted roster. They still have some dudes over there.
The thing you're going to get from those guys is they're always going to have talent. They're always going to have some of the best talent in Columbus, and it rivals the state. I mean, they got 2,000 kids over there at least.
I would say so.
So I mean, you're gonna have players, and then to me, they got the best player in Columbus. So
Javon Garcia playing at a high level right now.
Got 2 offers off of that from James Madison and Toledo. Off of the top of the ones that he already had. So I think JG decommitting at the time, it seemed kind of questionable, but I think he's gonna pick up some offers. He keeps playing like that. He might go a little bit higher than everybody thought he would. So.
Especially, I mean, not saying he will go like this, but if they make the Final Four, we're going to get your Final Four predictions in a little bit. If they make the Final Four, he might do that sincere carry where, come late in the season, guys are looking for a point guard, they'll take a chance on him. And then you see sincere carry's got to be the best freshman in the Atlantic 10.
Man, I talked to Coach Dan brought up at Cleveland play-by-play, and he was telling me that Sincere's been – the best player, the best decision they ever made was going after that kid. He's hardworking. He's not the most athletic. He doesn't shoot at the greatest, but he does everything right. He makes winning plays, and that's one thing to be said about that kid. He's a winner, man. When he's healthy out there, he's a winner.
It might have been, you hate to say an injury was a blessing, but it might have been a blessing in disguise because ever since his injury, he's so hungry.
Oh man, because he was doubted. I mean, He was doubted. He was put down to the side, and that kid's going to have a great 4-year career there, and God willing, he stays healthy, have a chance to play this game for a living because he just has a great feel for the game of basketball. He's dynamic off that pick and roll, and he competes at a high level every night.
The other thing I wanted to talk about at Flying to the Hoop is going to be – actually, there's 2 other things. Let me hit one first. And we talked about these characters, but for those who don't know what they do – at night for the media, for some of the VIPs and whatnot, is they have a hospitality room at the host hotel. We're talking about characters. You held court at that tonight. Or this whole winter, you really held court at there. When you walk in the room got quiet, whether it was John Stovall, B. Snow, myself, whoever was the one, doing all the talking. When you walked in the room, it's your room.
You know what? Last year we had a host of individuals who were in there making their presence be known. But I still was able to kind of garner some of the attention in there. Coach Bob being one of them, he wasn't there this year, so it's a little bit more quiet this year. But, it's just in there having fun, making sure everybody's, it's a long day for everybody. So it's a good way to unwind and relax and talk a little bit of shit. So it is what it is.
The last thing you want to do when you get in there is talk about the games that were played.
God no.
And this year was even more fun because while you and me and everybody were having a good time, you got Eric and you got Stovall in the background playing weatherman.
Yeah, they were playing weathermaker, matchmaker. I think at one point in time we were playing 4 different teams. I think I got Xenia one time, Wayne, and then I ended up with Lebanon, the Battle of the Warriors. That was, I think Eric came up with that statement. I don't know if that's culturally correct, but it's Battle of the Warriors. But I'm just appreciative to being in the event. It's a great event. It's one of the best ones in the country. One of my guys got a Division II look from it, and that's why you do it. That's why you go play in that event, and you have the opportunity to be seen. So I'm happy to have played in it. Would have loved to have, took Chet down, but I still got the win. So I got the win without even having to fight for it. Huh, Morrow? What do you think?
You got a couple smoothies?
A couple. I couldn't let Sonny outdo me, bro.
You're still from Cleveland now.
I'm still from Cleveland now, man. I'll tell you. I even got a couple without the whipped cream. I got to tell you that. Like that's what got me with TJ Petros. He got extra whipped cream. Bro, I'm just saying. You got a beard like me, like he's got. You can't have all that whipped cream in your beard, bro. Can't walk around there looking like that. Shout out to TJ.
But you put your time in there. You know about the whipped cream.
I know about the whipped cream. Light whipped cream, man. When you're a rookie and you haven't really been there but maybe like 3 years in a row.
That's not enough.
Not enough, man. Not enough. Got to put your time in, man. In everything you do.
And we're going to talk about that here. But last thing I want to talk about on Flyin to the Hoop is the circus. And I'm going to tell you, I can't do that LaMelo Ball. I can't do that Ball family stuff. And Spire, I'm going to say this. The Spire Academy, their other kids are really talented. I feel bad for their other kids because that circus with the balls, that stuff's ridiculous to me. I don't know how you feel.
I honestly, I'm a huge LeVar Ball fan just because he took something that, from nothing, he had 3 sons, and as outrageous as it seems at times, he built a brand off of it, and people are out there buying the sweatshirts, they're buying the hats, the hoodies, the T-shirts, and all, it's America, free enterprise. Now, everything that comes along with it and everything, the TV show on Facebook, I'll be honest, I watch it every Sunday. I'm a fan.
Well, the Steelers aren't playing in the playoffs. You got to watch something.
Morrow, don't you say a damn thing. Bro, why you got to bring that up? Well, that's not being in the playoffs this year. It's been a down year for my Steelers. We're not going to address that. We're talking about basketball. But, yeah, ball in the family and all that. And the circus that comes along with it is no different than we've seen in the past with other guys, man. But I just think that what LeVar's done, gets a little bit overhyped with the youngest son because, the kids are his age and they're following him. Like, this kid's got like 17 million followers.
Bro,
man.
There was a line 200 deep, and the average age was, I'm going to say the average age was 12. And that might be too high. Waiting for this dude and LeVar's wife, who I believe is the kid's mother, and the middle son, Joe, to all walk in to try and get autographs, just a picture of them walking in.
Yeah.
But then the whole thing, man, they show up, the 20-minute clock had already started. The team wasn't there. They roll in. Melo comes out 5 minutes before the game. He's just kind of prancing. And the kid's a great player. I'm not criticizing the kid because he's in this position, like, mentally, he's got to deal with so much stuff. We'd all be like that. But it takes away a lot from the game to me. And, like, I kind of think with Spire, like, as much notoriety as it's gotten them and as, more talent, I think they'd be better off without that circus around it for the other kids on that team, like Rocket Watts, who's like a top 50 kid in the country. Isaiah Jackson's a probably top 25 junior in the country. Mm-hmm. All those kids, it takes away from what those kids kind of do well, which is play really hard. And with the circus around it doesn't become play hard; it becomes play fancy.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll be honest, man. From watching him a couple of times online, and I'm watching him this past weekend, I think Melo at times went hard. I think Melo at times played with a little bit of a motor, but I think that's been the knock. Everybody wants to know if this kid's so good, why he doesn't play hard all the time. It's just a generation of what they got going on right now. That team's really, really, really talented.
No doubt.
And I think that they played they kind of overlooked that team a little bit. And that team, when they put them on their schedule, Prolific been waiting for that game. They've been waiting for that game. And I think that, they've got a rock star schedule, I think, over Aspire, and they kind of overlooked them, and we're looking forward to what they had going on this weekend in Cleveland and then some other stuff. So I think that if they can, they'll make that matchup again, and I love to see that rematch. I know they lost by a heck of an amount, but Prolific looked at it. They didn't really have to – they game plan strictly for Spire. I mean, they were ready. Their coaches did a hell of a job. I think people kind of overlooking that those guys had those kids well prepared for everything Spire did. So I think it was just more of Prolific playing really, really well and being really locked in because of the circus and not letting that get to them. And I think, albeit said, Melo with his 5-minute warm-up, he played the best out of Spire.
He did play well. He did play well. And here's my criticism. And again, this isn't criticism of LaMelo Ball. This is criticism of basketball. So Spire's down 40 points at one point, and LaMelo gets a fancy pass for a dunk, and that's the biggest cheer you hear. I'm sitting there like these prolific kids are playing their asses off. And the one kid's got 34 points. They're playing the right way. And, man, they can't get a clap to save their life.
I tell you what, they got a little bit of a standing, sitting ovation as the game ended because they respected the hard work those kids have put in. But I agree, it was one of those games you didn't know who was cheering for who. It wasn't like the night before or Friday night where you had clear cut, guys doing this and that. So I agree, the atmosphere was a unique atmosphere for that game because you didn't get a whole lot of high flying dunks. But you got one really good basketball team playing really well. And you got one team that didn't play really well that day. So, it was different, but, it was an experience. I ain't seen it like that since the Luke Kennard days.
LaMelo's got that thing like we just said with Michi where no matter what the score is, you don't want to look away because LaMelo, can do something special at any time. My fear for LaMelo is if, let's say he makes it to the NBA in a couple years, whatever journey it's going to be, no one knows. But whenever he makes that jump to the NBA, and he will play in the NBA at some point, in my opinion, he's in a tough spot because you think dudes went hard at Lonzo because of the way LeVar talked. LaMelo, oh my Lord, they're going to be at him.
I think whatever he does after this year, whether he tries to go to college and whether he goes to the G League or back overseas, if he goes to the G League, he's going to get it. He's going to have a present waiting on him in the G League. If he decides to go to college, he's going to have some guys coming at him. But I think it'll be an adjustment no matter where he ends up. I'm interested and excited to see it. But like everybody else, man, it's just part of the journey for all these kids. And he's back in the States playing high school basketball. And everybody who's going to get him to come around, they're going to take advantage of filling up that arena because everybody gets to sell. He sells them out.
He does. I don't know if it does a kid any favor where the atmosphere is so controlled. I know a lot of the Spire games, the atmosphere is so controlled by what the big baller brand wants. And you saw with Eric Horseman, he came on our podcast before the event and pretty much said he had a contract with Spire from before LaMelo even joined. So the Balls or the big baller brand or anybody else at Spire with an invested interest in specifically LaMelo's success couldn't control the situation. So you see what happens when it's not controlled, they get their ass kicked. So that I think is one thing. And then the last thing I want to say about the Balls is I'm just not big on this concept. I mean, everybody, wants to make money but the whole concept that you got to pay $3,500 to film their game to me is ludicrous.
I didn't know about that.
So what? Go ahead, Morrow.
With the grind session events, basically it's just a bunch of different I think it's more of a national thing, but they have national events, and specifically with the Spire game, that it was $3,500 per outlet to film a game. Now, I know a company like Overtime, I think they paid the $3,500, but they also had however many people in the stands filming with their phones. But it depends. It just depends. But
it's for one game.
Just the one game. Every other game is the whole press release was every other game is free. But if you want to come in and film, that game is $3,500. And if they catch you not filming, they will ban you from all future grind session events. And grind sessions AAU too, with Bronny and some of those people too. So they're really cracking down. They're trying to supposedly really crack down.
But the thing we talked about before the podcast or the other day is what if you pay $3,500 to film? This dude goes 0 for 5 in the first quarter, twists his ankle, and doesn't play the rest of the game. Do you get $2,950 back?
Well, that's the thing, and I was, and I've had discussions with some other video people. I said, what's the real return on investment for your $3,500? Because I know that, my personal YouTube channel, I'm never going to make $3,500 on a video, but I know some companies might. But
Ball's Life paid it, I heard.
Right, Ball's Life paid it, but at the end of the day, what's the percent chance that you're going to get even 50% of your money back on that $3,500 investment? Even if you're a big company with a bunch of, with 1 million subscribers like Ball's Life.
So what are you hoping for in that scenario? Just that something spectacular happens and everybody views that video? Is that
so I sat with Ty Kish on the day before Spire played. So they played Monday, right? So I sat with Ty on Sunday night, and Ty was telling me that basically he's got to, if he was going to do it, he would pay the $3,500. You got to be the first one. You got to get right. He was going to go to the airport, dude, just because the airport has good Wi-Fi to try and get his video. He did go to get the video up first. And you got to get so many 100,000 hits right away. And he said he was going to put 4 ads in the video, full length, because everybody wants these long videos now. And with the 4 ads, 1 minute ads, pretty much, he thinks you can make a small profit on a video.
Yeah, and the thing, like, Corey and I and Ty had this discussion. Like, the thing with YouTube videos now is if you take 10 minutes is the golden mark, because if you get a video that gets to 10 minutes, you can put in as many of those little 1 minute ads as you want, and that helps generate. That's why there's been kind of a push the last couple of years, and I think even Ty said it on our podcast a couple weeks ago, is there's a push for people to make the full game highlights solely for that reason. I mean, back in the day when we started, it was 2.5 minute mixtapes, but now with the 10-minute videos, it's all based on.
But when you look at big events like that, they're not going to wear a shirt that says NCAA, but there's always somebody from the NCAA at those events. For years at Flyin the Hoop, it was a woman who used to always come, real nice lady. This year there was a guy that was there. I saw him on Monday, works for the NCAA. And, if they're watching anybody, they're watching Spire. Of course. So my thing is, I don't think LeVar signed that thing as saying he's the one charged at $3,500, but any chance that the LaMelo Ball kid has of playing college, that just took you back another 5-6 steps trying to get on that.
Well, that's a slippery slope. I don't sit here and try to act like I'm going to know if that kid's going to play college basketball. But I mean, it's a slippery slope if they, whether he got paid, whether he didn't get paid, the shoe likenesses and all that. We talked about that a little bit in the hospitality room. Like, they let him in with that. It's going to be, helter skelter. So it's, who knows, But I mean, it was a good thing to experience once, and
for sure,
I can say I was there. So
for sure. I had to go Monday morning to a business breakfast down in Cincinnati at 9, and I was thinking, like, man, I could get a lot of stuff done today at work. It's kind of quiet on MLK Day. And I was like, man, I can't miss the ball game.
Yeah.
I was like, man, if I don't go, he's gonna have 50. Right. I know 100% he will score 50 if I don't go.
They probably wish you wouldn't have came, because they would double the score and he still wouldn't get 50.
But no, I mean, it's good. I'm glad I saw the team play. I really am glad.
I'm a huge fan of Isaiah. Huge fan of Rocket. Rocket was unbelievable on the circuit last year, and Isaiah was dynamic. I mean, Isaiah would get almost triple doubles with blocks, points, and rebounds. So it was like crazy. So
right. And then the other thing with Spire, we talked about this at length when we were sitting up top, and man, like I try and stay humble, man. I try and sit up top at Flyin the Hoop. I try and sit on the track with my table, man. A lot of you big time guys sit on the court now, and I just try and do my own thing up there. There's a big difference between sitting up top and Morrow's an up top guy. Morrow's
big time up top.
Morrow's a big time up top guy, but the downtown guys, they're still you got a lot of guys earning their stripes, and we met a lot of interest in video guys. Like, you knew Jason, you knew Ty, but some of these young guys, like, you got to meet, like the Eric Gets Buckets kid.
Love that kid.
So I mean, tell them kind of like what made you like that kid.
That kid, the work. This is his body of work. His body of work is, he said he's gonna leave there and drive home, which is Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Now, me being a guy when I coached JUCO, used to recruit up there. Knowing from Toledo that was like a 3.5-hour drive, this kid's going to drive from here all the way to Mount Pleasant, Michigan, 20 years old, in his Chevy Cruze, and he told me without cruise control. So,
and Doc had an 8 a.m. class.
He had an 8 a.m. class. So that's grinding. Like, you respect the guys like yourself. Like, of course, Stovall, who was doing it for years. I get on Zach a little bit, but even Zach was started off grinding, and you can see the growth. Chaz, going way back to when he had his Ohio versus Michigan tournament back in the day when he was running that at Toledo. Like, you see how guys have started and kind of dug up, and kind of, you respect it. You respect the guys, like you say, that were in the gym and who will put in time, and then, you respect their opinions. I call 2 or 3 people when I ask about a kid, and that's just me. I don't call everybody because I don't want everybody's opinion. But that kid said he went to North Dakota. I'll never go to North Dakota in my life, bro. For what? That kid drove to North Dakota. Yeah. Are you kidding me? From Michigan to North, I don't even know how you get there.
I didn't know there was roads.
You got to take the ferry out.
Yeah, ferry or something. No clue. Don't even want to know. I'll never go. I mean, that's ridiculous.
It would have to be a hot Nike shoe release.
I mean, hot Nike shoe release.
It would have to be
Hot Nike shoe release. By the way, bro, I got the ones already coming to me that I use my phone to tie. You talk about being lazy. I ain't got to bend over to tie my shoes no more.
Yeah.
Game's over, bro. Game's over, bro.
You back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Just
I'm
like
going
Garfield,
I'm going for 20. Just like Sonny said, I'm back, baby. I'm going for 20. First time I lace the bad boys up. Get out the way.
And then, I mean, I'm not asking you to name names, but I mean, there's a lot of young guys at the Flyin that have hooped it. From the other side, like, you got some dudes, you got some young kids who are really trying to learn. There's a kid, and I feel bad more because I've asked you his name 15 times. This is not good for the young guys trying to do well. What's the young kid's name with the slick hair? Nathan? Nate? That are really trying to learn, that are asking a lot of questions that I like. But then there are some media guys who, man, they know everything.
I mean, you got your one guy who works with y'all with the glasses. The what's his name? I don't know. He's
Darkel?
Darkel.
Yeah.
You know, he comes in, you know, as an apprentice grinding. And then you got, you know, my man TJ up in Northeast Ohio. He's got his own little corner of the state. I know he's trying to cover a little bit more. He's in Columbus a little bit, but he's still a novice, still trying to learn the game and still trying to get into it. And he's got a lot of opinions about a lot of different kids. So, you know, you got those up and coming guys who are kind of trying to make their niche. And like I say, man, for me, I don't care what your opinion is, but you got to have some knowledge base behind it, and you got to have some meat behind that, man. You can't just give me your willy-nilly, because you can be in the stands talking crazy, and if you don't know what you're talking about, you're sitting over there with college coaches. They may actually take your opinion and take it as far along.
Or you make yourself look stupid, because
Exactly.
a college coach is never going to tell you, like, dude, you're an idiot.
No, they're going to ask you about a kid, and they already have their formed opinion. And if you're opposite of their formed opinion, they really think you're an idiot. They're going to they're going to continue to talk to you to see how dumb you are. And if you continue to spout off more dumb stuff, they just sit there and realize, no, I'll never take this guy's service.
But anybody, I want you guys to understand, anybody listening, and you guys think Tuck is just talking here. I was with Tuck in 2011, and we were All-Ohio gray. On the All-Ohio red Nike EYBL totem pole. Gray is the bottom. Gray is the colorblind team.
Yeah.
And, you hit every other color jersey like this. Make them
gray.
What's two colors mixed together? Gray's good.
And when our first tournament, he had gray T-shirts waiting for us when we showed up there. So,
man, did I ever tell you this? Last year, Brian Thornton used to be at Ball State. He was on the podcast. So last year, I texted BT and I was like, "Man, you need to come see one of my guys in April." Mm-hmm. And Ricardo hadn't had our jerseys ready yet with the Lakers, so we wore T-shirts. So after the game, you know, since I got the Sky service, I'm allowed to talk to coach because I go out in the hallway, I see BT. And I was like, BT, man, what'd you think? And he goes, what did I think? Bro, you guys wore T-shirts. So speaking of wearing T-shirts in the AAU game, I was so mad. I just kept walking.
It's a certain etiquette. Certain etiquette to AAU, man. If you got a T-shirt on.
They were light T-shirts, so by the end of the tournament, they were they were darker. We could have at least got a black T-shirt.
Did they have the printed on numbers, or did you have to write them on with Sharpies?
We printed the numbers. Okay. Single digits. All
right.
0 through 9.
It's better than like writing a Sharpie on the back. Right?
Putting the duct tape on there.
Yeah.
Zero.
Make a 11, a 1, or make it something like that.
But the point is, man, like I remember like Tuck before that, like you had the Team Toledo stuff, Ohio Gator stuff, like you think getting AAU together in Southwest Ohio is hard. You haven't even tried Toledo.
Man, the thing I tell people, I got into this thing with Jimmy Jackson when he was doing Team Toledo. We used to do like 3 tournaments a year and then go out to Vegas and get our teeth kicked in. So, you know, I grinded with them and then went with Ernie and then came back to Jimmy and had that great group with Clemmy and them. Mm-hmm. And then went to OBC and had some runs over there with Carlton and then with Jaron. And then came over to All-Ohio. So.
But when you came over to All-Ohio, though, I mean, you didn't demand that you were going to be the 17 and under head coach after you started back. 15. I mean, it's really just now this year. This is your first year coming up coaching 17 EYBL. So, I mean, you really, you didn't start at square one. That wouldn't be fair to say. But, you humbled yourself to go back down the totem pole. Yeah,
I mean, for me, it's always going to be about the kids, man. And I'm never going to say, well, I demand to do this, demand to do that. Just give me an opportunity. And we, started off with a really good group with Francis, and these guys are seniors now, to see them all the way through the process, and now to have a group going 17U on that EYBL with all these new changes, it's going to be exciting, man. The competition is the part that I love, and the number one thing for me is these kids getting to school for free.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to talk about from the scouting service perspective. I had conversation with Chaz, and Chaz and me agree on about 99% of stuff, and we had opposite viewpoints, and I respect what he was saying, but I look at it differently. So my Flyin to the Hoop report, what I did every single night, and this isn't bragging, this is just the way I learned how to do it and the way I like to do it because I believe in it. It's going to give you the best product. At the end of the day, college coaches are buying a product. So I would go and I would try and type stuff up in between games and Flyin to the Hoop. It's hard to do that and still, be somewhat social, and you get so much social interaction with valuable information. But I did that. I try and type as much as I can. Then I go to the hospitality room at night, get something to eat because you haven't had anything real to eat all day.
Frickers.
And then I'd usually go in the room, and you don't have to get up that early the next day. So I'd work until about 2 a.m. on evals, and I got my Flyin to the Hoop eval out to college coaches by about 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning. The last game ended about 9:30. Well, I left at the end of the third, so I probably got home about 10:30 on Monday night. And my evaluations were 14 pages, and I've had 68 pages so far of single space stuff that have gone out to college coaches. And my whole thing with the business, just like you guys were kind of grinding on AAU, is like you got to keep going. I want to be the first one to get the information out, and I want to be the most in-depth service. And if guys don't read it all, I really don't give a shit because I still know that they can go back and look at something that I put together, and I know it's going to mean something. And Chaz's point, and he's saying is, well, it's during the season, and he likes to take his time. And the way Chaz does it is he's so good at taking notes. He's more of a note taker during the game than like a full sentence guy, which is kind of how I do it, is that, he's going to be able to really turn that into a really good report in a couple of days, and he likes to think about it. And he's saying, well, they don't really look at it during the season because they're so busy. And I tell you again, he's right. He's right. But my whole thing is I want to be the one to get out there first. And, in that business idea, whether it's coaching AAU, doing scouting, doing video, it's so highly competitive. You got to make it competitive. It's still basketball. It's still competitive.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that both models work, getting it out there early, and then Chad's more a little bit deeper into intel. Both models work. I've sat up there with them. I think the first day we sat up there pretty much, and I was watching them take notes on the Huntington Prep game, and then of course on the game before, the Crestview game versus I call them Chaminade, but Fairmont. They played a heck of a game as well. But yeah, so I mean both evals work, both ways work, man. It's just like you said, a lot of these coaches don't really take a look at it until they're going to look for that kid or going to see that kid or get to that class. I tried to tell a parent the other day, man, my son ain't even got to look. I said, dude, they're looking at 2019, and once they're done with that, they go one at a time.
They're looking at transfers.
Right.
Forget about 2019.
Yeah, you're right about that. They are. And then they're looking at the grad transfers.
And then the JUCOs.
And JUCO. Actually, grad transfers is replaced JUCO.
Grad transfers, right.
It's the new JUCO.
But what you're saying, right, they look at it later. But, I mean, right, going back to the scouting thing, I mean, it's just a habit I got into with Rivals where, when you want to get up that night's coverage that night, is like I just always want to get it out as fast as possible with as detailed as possible. So I write them long because, like I said, I don't want anyone to ever tell me, well, I only gave them half the information on the kid. And, that's the way I believe in doing it. And, you don't want, like I've seen some other guys' reports where it'll just say tall, can jump. And, that's not enough. I want to, if it's too long-winded, that's fine, but at least they understand my opinion. And that's why every time I go to a high school basketball game, I send out a report that same night. Just on, sometimes, I went to a game this year to see that the kid at Xenia Legacy Christian. He was the only kid I wrote about. I went to a game where I saw Moeller versus Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's, and it was probably 10 kids. So, some are shorter, some are longer, but still, you want to show them, like, man, we're going to see a game every night. We're going to see a variety of kids, and, it shows that we've got a barometer. And, I mean, that's the same thing with AAU is, college coaches come to you and say, well, I know Tuck is not only seeing kids, but he's seeing kids all over the state. He's seeing kids at all different levels because, you got Winton Woods guys. Some are going to go to different levels. You got All-Ohio guys that are going to go to some big D1s, small D1s. You're going to play against other AAU teams. So, it's another thing with these guys that I think when they're in the scouting world, when they're not understanding things early, it's because they just haven't seen enough guys and gotten a perspective of, the best player in Cincinnati in 2019 might be a high major, but the best player in Cincinnati in 2020 might be Division II. You never know.
Facts. The thing that I tell these guys, man, is I think all scouts, they come from different backgrounds and different beginnings. But I'm sorry, Morrow was giving me the finger. So all scouts come from different backgrounds and different beginnings. But I think that at the end of the day, as a coach, I'm sitting there and I'm seeing all the talent regardless. So I know they may think, well, he's just a coach. He doesn't know. But I've been doing this for a long time, brother. A long time. I've been doing AAU for over 15 years. Every year, like never stop. So it's like I see kids every year, and I can give you an eval on the kid every day. There's no bias, no nothing. So.
And I mean, AAU is another thing. And I mean, I want to talk about kind of parents. And, you know, there's some great parents, but there's some delusional parents. And, you know, one thing, my thing, Stovall talks about this more than anybody. And if anybody who has a kid who's a good player, who's listening to this podcast, you know, maybe there's a couple of you, go back and listen to our episode with John Stovall. And he's going to tell you Nike specifically, and I'm going to broaden it to say a really good program, preferably a high-profile circuit program if possible. But you want to put your kid around somebody who's been there and done it. Like, your kid only gets one chance at AAU. Mm-hmm. Why risk it, you know, with a program that's not successful?
It's simple. It's a track record. You got a track record of putting kids in school. You've been doing it for a while. And people are going to come see you. Every year they're going to come see you for players. Mm-hmm. High major, low major, whatever it may be. They're going to Division IIs, NAIs. They know you're going to have players every year, so they're going to come look for you. Nowadays, you can't be that David versus Goliath, that little mom and pop team, thinking you got this one great player and you're going to take him and you're going to go play on the EY. That's the funniest thing in the world. We're getting EYBL next year. Who are you? Oh, okay. Yeah, see you next year at tryouts.
Well, then let
me
interject real quick. You know, when you and me, spring summer 2011, we had, you know, again, All-Ohio Gray. But because of the way the schedule was back then, Nike was the only circuit. Adidas had tournaments, but there wasn't a circuit. We played in that year. I don't remember if we played Red. We certainly played at 8 events that Red played at. Maybe we didn't bump with them. You know, I think we played King James, had good groups. We played OBC a couple times. Mm-hmm. We played a bunch of shoe teams. You know, now in 2019 summer, and with the exception of Spiece, which is not an open event for Division I's, right, it's very hard to play shoe teams because the shoe teams, they play shoe events.
That's a fact. Like, if you don't play them at Spiece, or you don't play them in Milwaukee, and then
Milwaukee's another one.
What if you're All-Ohio, you played Sweet 16, I guess.
Yeah, but that's a smaller, right? It's a smaller event, and it can happen, but it's a smaller event.
Right, I see what you're saying.
Those two events mainly are the ones where you're going to run into, like, all three teams, all three levels of teams, whether it be Under Armour, whether it be Adidas or Nike. Right. That's where you're going to get all three of those teams there.
But I mean, just the fact, that's part of it. But what I'm saying is, you know, in terms of high quality competition for a great evaluation from college coaches, you know, those teams are a different turn. The college coaches can only go to so many places. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was talking to a parent last night of a kid, you know, he's got a team and he was thinking about where to put his team. And I told him, to be honest, if my team's not on a circuit, I would probably try and find out where the Division IIs are going to be, because the Division I's are going to be at the shoe circuit, and there'll be a couple at Hoop Group will have an event. What's the group in Georgia? Hoop Scene will have an event. But I mean, for the most part, you know, the Division I coaches are going to be at those shoe events, and, you know, you got to make the most out of your opportunity. So if you're not one of those shoe teams, I think looking for where Division IIs are going to be locally is a good look.
That's going to be a great. I think Pitt Jam Fest is going to be huge for a lot of teams this year, because with that only one evaluation period in the spring, guys are going to struggle to find places where they can get their kids looks, because, as you said, a lot of people are just going to be wherever the shoe teams are. I know we'll be in Atlanta. I don't know where the other two other circuits are going to be. So, you know. And
let's clarify what shoe is, because I think that's important. You know, Adidas had some stuff with the lawsuit. We've covered that on this podcast pretty in depth with Chaz twice. Mm-hmm. But Adidas is still there. Under Armour is still there. Nike's still there. And, you know, there are some other circuits that are popping up, whether it's, you know, I've heard Puma's trying to do something. I've heard New Balance's name. I know Powerade has a circuit. Prep Hoops has a circuit. And again, like, if you have no other options, I mean, that stuff's okay. But if you have the option to play for a renowned circuit, take advantage of it, because, again, you only get one chance. The rule is the way the rule is this year. So don't try and don't pass on an opportunity to play for a high exposure team this year and then complain that you didn't get recruited, because, like Tuck said, you get one weekend in April.
1 weekend in April, 1 weekend in July. And the college coaches just came out and said flat out, please do not move or change the Peach Jam. So, you know, I've seen that. I think Adidas moved their stuff over in that part of the country, and I think Under Armour moved theirs to Atlanta.
Right.
So it kind of everybody's trying to piggyback off of that. But
well, even July, at least you have a 5-day window. Where I mean, April, man, you get 2 days, and Friday night is a crapshoot. You might see 2 games.
They can't come out till 4. Was it 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
I think it used to be 6. I don't know if it's 4 this year.
Yeah.
But
6 to 5, I think.
6 to 5 on Sunday.
Yep.
On Sunday.
So, and I'm pretty sure that ain't gonna change. So you got that little bit of window to be seen, and then of course whatever they have in June. I'm not gonna get into that crazy stuff with June and how that's supposed to go with the recruiting, but they can see them in high school in June.
So I think we talked about this last time. I mean, what is your reaction then when you're recruiting kids for Red and parents are telling you, well, we're going to do our own thing?
I try to advise parents the best way, especially when they're at 17U, or even when they're 15U, because I tell people all the time that you're only getting a certain amount of times to be seen, period. So, right now, those times, it used to be 15 times you would be seen. And the way it's going right now, it's going to be 6. The model may be 6 unless they add another one in the spring next year. So they've cut them down dramatically how hard it is going to be for these guys to be seen. So it's very important that they be seen at 15U by coaches so that they can then go see them in the high school. I tell them, coaches don't come to high schools no more.
Man, and then you just add more variables. If you play for Nike, you're Nike. So let's say Under Armour. You play for Under Armour, good circuit. You're going to be playing against another Under Armour team. If we had a team, and this is my fault. I made a mistake as an AAU coach, and if Ricardo Hill was on here, he'd tell you he made a mistake. We signed up for a bad tournament in July, and we had a Division II school come, and the kid actually signed to go there. So fortunately, it worked out. But they came to watch our game in July, and they said, Corey, the other team's awful. So this is a throwaway evaluation. We wasted our time over here. So, you run the other variable of, is the other team going to be any good? Is the event going to be organized?
Right.
Where is it going to be at in terms of location, near the bigger circuit games? There's all those other factors. And, this is there's so few kids that have that opportunity. We've talked about opportunity on this podcast. There's so few kids that have that opportunity, and it wasn't too good for all these other kids from McDonald's All-Americans or high draft picks, take advantage of that opportunity. Yeah.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, when you're doing this, you have a certain amount of time to be seen. And if you take advantage of it, then you'll actually, benefit from it. But if you hide your son, there's a couple of kids I know that are one really special one in Columbus that has not been seen by many college coaches. And if he doesn't get on the circuit this year, I fret to see what can happen to that young man, because he's gotten even better from last year to this year. But I don't see him playing for any shoe circuit teams this year anytime soon.
Let's talk about, I got 2 more things. The first thing I want to talk about for you is this. There was an aggressive moment at Flyin at a hoop. And you were talking and Morrow was talking. Morrow was talking about he likes to play, and this is a young kid who's saying young kid stuff.
Yeah. Bro.
He likes to play the NCAA football video game from back in the day. He likes to play Madden, and he thinks he can take on Tuck.
The thing Morrow has to understand about this, man, is I'm a vet. I'm going back to my UT days. I used to win them championships, bro. So that competitive fire ain't going nowhere. So Morrow's talking about 2013 like he's the only one in the world who still has the last NCAA football game made. NCAA national championship was won about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was playing, bro. I was playing.
And the other thing is Morrow thinks he's just gonna beat you by playing. Like you
skill. I'm gonna piss Morrow off because I'm gonna sit there and read his zones. I'm gonna tell him what he's in, and then I'm gonna tell him what I'm gonna do to his zone.
You told him he's got to disguise his coverage.
Yeah, he better disguise his coverage. He better not walk that little guy up front there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have somebody. Oh, come on, man. I'm going to hot route that thing.
What was the first NCAA game you ever played? Come on.
Bill Walsh football, Morrow.
All right. You got me there.
You were swimming around in your dad's scrotum back then, man. You don't know anything about Bill Walsh football, bro. Come on, man.
Tuck has gone through every system over the
Every
years.
system. Twice. I break one and go get another one. This is what happens, man.
And don't even start on 2K.
Yeah, we don't.
The only one who can beat me in that is Trent Donald. All right, Trent Donald is official. He's actually a professional gamer. Mm-hmm. And I'm the only one who's in Cincinnati who has beaten Trent Donald.
But you're going to run sets?
I'm going to run sets, bro. I'm going to run my sets. And back when Kobe was with the Lakers and we had our Twin Towers, that's when I beat Trent Donald. Now, I know he probably doesn't listen, But that's when I got them, bro. I know how to play my bigs. I can play my bigs.
So when can we set up you and Morrow playing football video? It could be the new Madden. It could be whatever.
Next time you guys have a podcast, Morrow gets down here an hour early. I'll take him to school, bro.
Give him some time to practice.
Oh, he got a week or so, 2 weeks, whatever he needs. I'm a busy man. He's a busy man, but you just better get ready.
But the thing about Morrow, in terms of the trash talking, is if you can't handle the heat,
it's gonna be props. See, I don't want to mess up our friendship. I like Morrow,
but you got to.
But I bring the heat, bro. Not only do you gotta beat me in the game,
yeah,
you gotta hear my mouth too, because I'm going.
Right.
I'm like fiery, man. Fire. I gotta compete. At the end of the day, I'm gonna talk about everything. Talk about your beard. Talk about everything just to get you thrown off. And then you gotta deal with the heat of the blitz, and then don't talk about the option. Can you stop the option?
I guess.
And he's got his wife calling him on the
wife calling him on the phone. So he's gonna go home, sleep on the couch after a butt whooping. It's gonna be bad for tomorrow, bro. It's gonna be bad. I might have to buy you a Happy Meal as you get up the road there, man. It's gonna be bad. Ben, get you a 4 for 4. I'll get you a 4 for 4. You're a grown man, no Happy Meal. Get you a 4 for 4 tomorrow.
Man, would you play the game with some of the kids on your team? Can they tell who the child is?
No. That's why I still relate to these kids, because they all bring the game in the room on the road, and I smack them around, and I treat them like they're little girls, and then I go back to my room, and I sit there with the fellas like nothing happened. But no, these kids nowadays, they don't even strategize. They just want to run and gun. Yep. They want to shoot threes and dunk, and they want to turn the sliders all the way up so they can make all their threes.
Post play.
They don't want to play with any fatigue. I put fatigue on. All the kids in the room like, no, you don't play with fatigue. I said, you get tired in real life, don't you? They said, yeah, all right, well, shut up. Put the fatigue on and put it on my view. You got to play on my view, bro.
Your view. Until they beat you.
Bro, until you beat me, broadcast view. I'm not playing 2K, flipping around, getting a headache. I can't use my post players.
Right.
I got to use my post players, bro. I'm the only one who still uses post guys. I go through my bigs, playing through my bigs.
And then the last thing, I gave you some time so I asked Tuck, everybody. I asked Tuck at the Flyin to the Hoop. We just got to talk, and I said, who do you think is going to win, or who do you think is going to make it to the state tournament in Division I? I said, hold on. I'm going to give you a couple days. And that was either Sunday or Monday. We had that conversation. Today's Thursday. Division I, Ohio.
Division I, Ohio. Southwest Ohio, Winton Woods. Okay, but since I'm biased, should it happen that we get upset by Moeller, Moeller goes. Hell, you guys laughing so hard for him, bro.
I'm just thinking if Moeller's got a chance.
Yeah. Told him, man. Don't give him no fuel for the fire. Carl might listen to this.
Carl loves this podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. Central Ohio, I thought about this back and forth. Dublin's playing really well, but I like Pick Central.
See, we had the conversation before Pick Central played Trotwood, and everybody said Dublin Coffee.
I see Pick Central as being this year's Patriots. Like, you got to look at them as a team. They've been there before, the last 2 years, and they got the best player. See, but
to start the year, I would have agreed with you.
Right.
I think Kaufman's playing the best, but I also think that the way that Trotwood played Monday night kind of was able to...
They played into their hands.
They played into their hands a little bit because they struggled with Westerville Central on Tuesday night, who's not one of the top teams in Central Ohio.
Well, here's what I'll tell you to that. They're missing their impact big and cold.
I do agree.
And then you're also looking at they just had an emotional game against Trotwood. Here's how you judge Pick Central. When Colton gets back, and the one thing that they always have done the last 2 years, and he's my guy, I love him to death, they put a guy with length on Dom. And that causes Dom problems. Now, if Dublin wants to get out of there, Dublin's going to have to get over the fact that, one, they may run into Pick North. And let's be honest, when that big fella decides he wants to just take over a game,
it's over.
It's not too many people in Central Ohio who can stop that guy. He is a monster. So I think I still got Pick Central. Northwest Ohio is a little bit harder to read, but I'm going to say that St. V, because I think they still got that thing where Lorraine would have to go over there and play the...
It's hard to figure out who goes where in Northeast Ohio.
Right, it is.
So there's probably going to be two Northeast Ohio teams. You got St. V, I think it's the St. Mary, and then you got who else?
St. V coming out. And see, the thing is, all four of those teams now go play in Cleveland, so it would either have to be... Is St. Ed's playing there, or are they going west?
I think St. Ed's goes west.
St. Ed's go west. So the biggest thing now... That's Akron, like the Akron thing goes against Toledo, right?
Yep. I assume
so. That's St. V versus Lorraine or St. Ed's. So here's my thing. You got three of the best teams in Northeast Ohio and one regional. And then in that other region where the plays at Cleveland State, who's there?
Brush.
But Brush has to get past Mentor.
Okay, I haven't seen Mentor, but Brush is probably a favorite.
Here's the thing. Mentor has beaten Brush the last 6 times.
Wow.
But I'm going with Brush going downstate.
So you got Brush.
I'm going Brush.
So you're saying over Lorraine and Eds? You
Brush.
got St. V.
I'm going St. V over Lorraine and Eds, and I'm going Pick Central and Moeller with a last buzzer beater over Winton Woods to get to the Final Four.
But you're going to out Coach Carl.
Bro, you're not getting me saying crazy on this podcast.
Man, if we had Bubba Walter out here, tell you he outcoached you. But
That's fine.
I'm not going to ask you about every division, but in the other Division 2, 3, 4, any teams you really like?
I love Taft. Not just because Marco's my guy, but I think they're playing the best, and I think that loss helps them against Hughes because it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
T. Potter on the sideline.
T. Potter is a great strategy guy. I think he's got a good strategy guy on the sideline right now, and they got a group of guys who know how to play that level.
I think Paul McMillan's calling your phone right now.
Yeah, he probably is. But I mean, that to me is going to be their biggest test, and it's going to happen in Mason, or it may happen at UD, or it may, depending on where they go, it may not happen until Kettering again. But
the city schools in Cincinnati, for some reason, they love to beef with each other at that sectional draw.
Yeah,
They might play in the first round the way them guys. But Taft and Hughes might jump on each other. They love that
I think
stuff.
Hughes will be the biggest threat to them going to states. Will be like when they played Aiken a few years back. I like Purcell Division III versus Lutheranese. And
don't count Harvest Prep.
I'm talking about down just to get down there.
Oh, to get up there.
Yeah, Harvard's Prep is really good. They're definitely going to be in the mix.
I like Purcell.
Yep, I like them. In Division 4, I got a sleeper out of Cleveland. I'm going with Richmond Heights. They got a heck of a lot of talent, a lot of athleticism.
I saw them in Cleveland at the play-by-play. They got more size and athleticism, I would think, than anybody in Division 4. It's not the most informed statement, but I'd be surprised.
Yep, them. I like Conview, and I like Conview. I mean, they're really, really good.
Convoy, Crestview.
Yep, so.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorites. I haven't seen the whole state like TJ Petros, but I've seen enough to know those are some of the teams I like.
You like Columbus South?
I love South. They're Division 2 though.
Yeah.
They gotta come over this way.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough for them.
They can go to Athens too. Is another.
Yeah, they better go to Athens. Because coming over here, you're gonna run.
Well, and then if you're gonna beat Trotwood, you got to beat Trotwood in Dayton. And Pick Central did it, and they stood out. But man, at the end of the year, Trotwood just finds that gear.
They do.
I mean, Amari Davis has won more high school tournament games than. Good Lord, more than Luke. I'd have to think of who has won more. Maybe the Wessons, maybe Caleb Wesson. Yeah, it's a short list of guys that Amari Davis has won West tournament games then. So they'll be in there. So no, man, that's good stuff. And is there anything else you want to talk about real quick, man?
Nope. I'm excited, man, to be back on here. I appreciate you guys having me back on. And I think next time we need to have another guest on here with the Corey and Corey podcast.
Well, Morrow talked a little bit though.
I got more to talk more than anybody ever. I got more out of his shell because believe me, he big time me, bro, the first time. So
and the big time and that's gonna be in the back of your mind when you play Madden.
It's in the front. It's in the front. It's in the front, bro. It's in the front.
Oh
it's
man,
in the front.
Man. All right, cool. Well, that was the Corey and Corey podcast, aka the Triple Double podcast. Want to thank All-Ohio Red and Cincinnati Winton Woods, Corey Tucker. Want to thank Jay Morrow, who was going to get a speaking part today. I'm Corey Albertson, and thanks for listening, guys. This podcast is brought to you by PlayEasy.com. For players, coaches, or casual athletes looking to book a sports facility, as well as owners and managers of sports facilities, PlayEasy.com is the new one-stop site for streamlined services. If you're looking for a place to practice, play, host your tournament, camp, or other, simply go to PlayEasy.com and create a booking request for your area. Your request will go out to surrounding facilities who will respond with their best offer. Once you receive the offer that best fits your needs, book the facility and you're ready to play. For facility owners and managers, PlayEasy puts the power in your hands to maximize the usage and visibility of your facility. Register your facility for free today at PlayEasy.com. PlayEasy.com is the booking site built by athletes, coaches, and facility managers, and is proud to help bring you the Triple Double podcast. This podcast is also brought to you by Anago Cleaning Systems. Are you tired of struggling in a dead-end job? If so, Anago Cleaning Systems has what you're looking for, an opportunity to go into business for yourself, but not by yourself. With franchising opportunities available for as little as a $2,500 down payment, purchasing an Anago franchise has never been easier. Once you own your Anago franchise, you're licensed to clean commercial facilities all around the greater Cincinnati, Dayton, or Columbus areas with the support of Anago's sales, quality control, operational, and accounting staff. Call 513-332-0033 today for your opportunity to be your own boss and grow your own commercial cleaning company under the guidance of Anago's proven and successful system. Again, call 513-332-0033 to learn more. With Anago, your future starts today.